This matters going forward. We're in a live exercise here.
It would be one thing if the committee had come here today and said, look, here are the emails or here are the WhatsApps that show that you were warned about rule breaking before you made your statements to the House. You haven't got any such evidence because that never happened.
Well, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court.
I understand that. Can I ask you one further question? I think probably all MPs that have been on days where we're very busy going from meeting to meeting rely on our advisors to guide us through where we're going. I understand what you said about that as the Prime Minister working on a busy schedule. Did you at any point question any of the events that you were going to when the advisors were taking you to them?
Look, hindsight's a wonderful thing. In retrospect, I might have thought about some things, you know.
Post Ray, post the beginning of the coming to light of everything that did come right, I have thought about it, but
No, at the time, I thought we were working. I thought we were working.
You're talking bollocks!
That is what, I promise you, that is what officials in Number 10 thought they were doing as well.
The intelligence that we're seeing today is still not encouraging.
So that line, Mr Johnson, the assurance that you relied on in the House of Commons on the 8th of December was initially developed as no more than a media line to hold at bay press inquiries, wasn't it?
Yes, but I don't see any great vice in that. But I don't see any great vice in that. But I don't see any great vice in that. But I don't see any great vice in that. But I don't see any great vice in that. And I think we have to be absolutely realistic about how government is carried on.
Yeah, I'm not very smart.
Why did you tell the House of Commons that you had received repeated assurances that no rules had been broken when you knew that that was not the case, because you knew what the rules were? You were at gatherings that breached the rules, and the breaches of the rules would have been obvious to you at the time. Isn't that the case?
No,
complete the question, if you may.
Some might see your reliance on the purported assurances you received as, and forgive me, as a deflection mechanism to prevent having to answer questions about your knowledge of these gatherings. Would that not be a fair assessment?
No, it would be a completely ridiculous assessment.
I thought it was because we're stupid.
Most important of all, if it was obvious to me that these events were contrary to the guidance and the rules, then it must have been equally obvious to dozens of others, including the most senior officials in the country, all of them, like me, responsible for drawing up the rules. All of them, like me, responsible for drawing up the rules. All of them, like me, responsible for drawing up the rules.
Yeah, I'm not very smart. What was the question?
Here's a bunch of harsh, restrictive rules with punishments, quite severe. And then we're going to bring out a lot of guidance that actually infringes on all of those rules, so as we can operate only under the guidance whilst we ignore the rules. And so we now say that we complied with all the guidance and never broke the rules, because you weren't operating under the rules, you're operating under the guidance. So you can actually create this bullshit about, oh, all the rules were complied with. Oh, we complied with all the guidance. But no, you didn't. The guidance was there to deliberately infringe on the rules.
If I was asked to give undertakings that rules and guidance had been followed, and there was any doubt about it, there was the most thinnest scintilla of doubt about it, well, you'd want to copper plate your assurances by showing that you'd taken proper advice.
Perhaps
and I put it to you, Mr. Johnson, you did not take proper advice.
Can I respond first by saying that
no,
I thought that the Leader of the Opposition would not bother.
Quit waffling, shut up.
With that story
Okay,
for his main line of
that's
presence.
irrelevant.
It is relevant.
The question is, why did you not take proper advice?
Sorry.
You didn't go to legal, and you didn't go to your law departments. So you didn't do anything. You didn't ask the relevant people.
The answer is...
If I'd have gone to legal or law, they'd have jumped all over my ass with this. This is the only way I can try and scamper away and make it seem as though I haven't done anything and I'm being the one punished.
Quite simply, that over the... And I've tried to describe what I felt about these events as they were happening. Nobody raised with me or had any concern before I stood up on December the 1st about those events.
You did not ask.
I asked. I did say this is complete nonsense. I mean, complete nonsense. I asked the relevant people. They were senior people. They'd been working very hard. They gave Jack Doyle gave me a clear account of what had happened.
The Cabinet Secretary.
How the Cabinet Secretary wasn't there? Sorry, you're wrong, because I did ask the Cabinet Secretary. And I did ask the Cabinet Secretary to conduct an inquiry on the 7th of December.
Not about whether your undertakings to the House of Commons were correct.
But of course that was what he was...
We can move on.
£250,000 for a bunch of idiots to let Boris actually tell you that he helped to write up this shit. So if he helped to write it up, he knew all the ins and outs. Either that, or he didn't read it, so government is now guilty of writing shit and then applying it to you, and then allowing the courts to tell you you've done something wrong when you fucking haven't. Like he explained, if they don't have any evidence, they can't actually prove it, can they? Or are we now operating under the guilty until proven innocent?
I would never lie. I willfully participated in a campaign of misinformation.